Why is Python 3.x's super magic? In Python 3.x, super can be called without arguments. In order to make this work, some compile time magic is performed, one consequence of which is that the following code, which rebinds super to super underscore, fails. Why is super unable to resolve the superclass at runtime without assistance from the compiler? Are there practical situations in which this behavior, or the underlying reason for it, could bite an unwary programmer? And, as a side question, are there any other examples in Python of functions, methods, etc. which can be broken by rebinding them to a different name?
The new magic super behavior was added to avoid violating the DOI, don't repeat yourself, principle, CPEP 3135. Having to explicitly name the class by referencing it as a global is also prone to the same rebinding issues you discovered with super itself. The same applies to using class decorators where the decorator returns a new object, which rebinds the class name. The magic super underscore class underscore cell sidesteps these issues nicely by giving you access to the original class object. The pet was kicked off by Guido, who initially envisioned super becoming a keyword, and the idea of using a cell to look up the current class was also his. Certainly, the idea to make it a keyword was part of the first draft of the PEP. However, it was in fact Guido himself who then stepped away from the keyword idea as too magical, proposing the current implementation instead. He anticipated that using a different name for super could be a problem. My patch uses an intermediate solution. It assumes you need underscore class underscore whenever you use a variable named super. Thus, if you globally rename super to supper and use supper but not super, it won't work without arguments, but it will still work if you pass it either underscore class underscore or the actual class object. If you have an unrelated variable named super, things will work but the method will use the slightly slower call path used for cell variables. So, in the end, it was Guido himself that proclaimed that using a super keyword did not feel right, and that providing a magic underscore class underscore cell was an acceptable compromise. I agree that the magic, implicit behavior of the implementation is somewhat surprising, but super is one of the most misapplied functions in the language. Just take a look at all the misapplied super type self or super self, underscore class underscore self invocations found on the internet. If any of that code was ever called from a derived class, you'd end up with an infinite recursion exception. At the very least, the simplified super call, without arguments, avoids that problem. As for the renamed super underscore, just reference underscore class underscore in your method as well and it'll work again. The cell is created if you reference either the super or underscore class underscore names in your method.